Labour superfan and political shill PRGuy was fully seething last night just moments after Novak Djokovic won his 10th Australian Open title. Partisan as always, he twisted Novak's momentous achievement into an attack on Scott Morrison and the Liberal Party. While PRGuy attempts to rewrite history in the minds of his followers, some of us actually remember that Labour and the Liberals played a dirty political game over Novak's deportation last year, as I covered in 2 videos at the time, where I was critical of both parties. It started off with the federal government saying this would be a state issue, and the Victorian state premier saying that they would not be making any exemptions for tennis players. We recently found out that several tennis players had been given exemptions, including Novak, who had been permitted to fly into Australia. On landing in Melbourne in the middle of the night, he's arrested and interrogated for hours by some smug immigration bureaucrat. The PM wades in and says that Novak isn't welcome. Then it's ruled that he can stay while his case is heard. As usual, the main political parties get their PR machines to start pointing fingers at each other, playing the same old political games. Fans of Morrison are saying it was approved by the Victorian Health Department, while Dan's taxpayer-funded Twitter accounts point the finger back at Morrison. A judge determines that Novak's detention was invalid. He also asked, what more could Djokovic have done? A clear reference to the debacle this had become at the hands of the government and immigration department. Some sources were stating that the immigration minister was considering whether to use his personal powers to have Novak deported. Because this sums up the last 2 years of life here in Melbourne. Bureaucrats who have been promoted into a position of incompetence making knee-jerk decisions just so that they can give the impression of proficiency and protect their own self-interests and justify their high salary and justify their ridiculous job titles. This is the blind leading the blind, the bureaucrat leading the bureaucrat. It also points out the farce of the mandates we've been living with for almost 2 years. There are other unvaccinated players at the Open, yet the unvaccinated in Melbourne are not allowed to go into cafes, bars, barber shops, or to attend a sporting event as a spectator. Yet I can still go and mingle outside the MCG or Amy Park prior to games. None of it makes any sense at all. A brief update to the Novak saga video. Since that video, the case against him was taken up again by the Immigration Minister, Alex Hawke, who won, and Novak will now be deported. Alex Hawke is now gushing all over himself that his authority was acted on. Morrison's creaming his pants as well. The official word coming out of Canberra is that the two of them are due to meet up this evening to fillet and rim each other as part of some victory celebration. Then he smugly suggests that Novak's win has earned him a second chance, that Novak has redeemed himself. Novak, a man of incredible integrity beyond that of most of our politicians and public servants, has no need to redeem himself to anyone, never mind this piece of shit. He is then gracious enough to propose an amnesty for anti-vaxxers along with a joke about them all dying. This is standard for him, mocking anyone who dares to question what was pushed on us over the last few years, and completely denying or ignoring anything contrary to the narrative he is aligned to. Imagine what this guy could do considering the following he has if he took a more balanced and thoughtful approach. True bravery would be having the balls to speak up about something that's happening which goes against the opinions of his followers. That would be something noble which I would respect him for, if he broke free from being a slave to his own PR. Part of me thinks he's just a nasty piece of shit, but I'll cut him some slack. Perhaps he just got caught up in the quick internet fame he found shilling for Labour for 3 years and it's knocked his own judgment. Maybe we should be considering an amnesty for PRGuy and his divisive hate speech. What a fucking tit.